You are now rocking with the realest cowboy fan. Let's get it. It's your boy, Big Rich, back in the building. Talk about these Cowboys, y'all. Let's go. Yo, what's good, family? Let me get my lighting right. Can you guys hear me on the mic? On the MIC? What it do, baby? Real Cowboys fans, stand up and be heard. Welcome to the very first episode of the realest Cowboy fan. Such a monumental occasion here on the channel. A groundbreaking of sorts. A ribbon cutting, if you will, so forth and so on. Really quick before we get going, at the time of this video, it is 9/11, and I would just like to extend my condolences for anyone who lost loved ones and the tragedy that happened on this day 22 years ago. My thoughts and prayers go out to you and your families. Now, regarding the channel, not sure if you noticed on the intro, the spelling of the name in the title, right? It so subtly depicts the basis of this channel, man. And that I not only consider myself one of the realest Cowboys fans, spelled R-E-A-L-E-S-T, right? But a realist Cowboys fan, spelled R-E-A-L-I-S-T, right? So you know you go get a spelling bee when you came to check me out, right? But yeah, there you go, man. But no, not only one of the realest, a realist, right? When it comes to these Cowboys. So on this channel, I will keep it real, man. Give perspectives and projections and drop a lot of those oh so important 5-letter words. Facts, okay? Facts. We got to keep it real, baby. All right, keeping it real. Listen, it doesn't make you less of a fan just because you're not screaming and cheering and hooping and hollering and we're going to the Super Bowl every time, every year, man. Hey, come on, man. Sometimes we got to dial it down a little bit, Cowboys fans. Listen, I know this is one of the years where you say, Rich, what are you talking about, dial it down? This year? Okay, I get it. I understand. I do. I really do. Okay. But I'm just saying, I don't know. Sometimes we take it too far, man. And I'm the guy that tries to keep things grounded. Excuse me, y'all. Gotta hydrate. Stay hydrated. Now that's high quality H2O. No, we gotta keep it real, man. Let's keep it real. Now, before we go any further. Now, this is a YouTube channel, so you know how it works. If you like it, I love it. So strike that like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any wonderful future content. All right? Back to realist versus realist, right? Let me explain the source or the reasoning behind me making this distinction. Now, first and foremost, not sure if you knew this, but at the time of this video, the Dallas Cowboys are the #1 grossing sports franchise in the world. Now, let me back up. I didn't just say football franchise. I said the #1 grossing sports franchise in the entire world. Yeah. At the making of this video, we're talking about September 11th, 2023. The #1 grossing sports franchise in the entire world. It's more than the Yankees, more than the Patriots, more than any of those MLB clubs, You have a huge fan base, quite obviously. So many of those fans have no real clue about American football. And I mean, they're basically all coming from emotions, right? They just want to be a part of something big, right? So they root for that team that's like, oh, everybody, see, everywhere I look, I turn, it's Cowboys. You know, like, you're Cowboys. That's Dad is a Cowboy, you know. Cowboys, right? Me at AT&T Stadium. Wonderful visit. We got some other stuff up here too. Let me show just a little bit. Yeah, I got the Texas Star Cowboy deal from one of my employees at my job a little while back. She made it herself. That was so nice. Thank you, Cassandra. Yeah, and then I mean, some of this other stuff. Quite obviously, is gifts from my kids, like the best dad stuff. But anyway, that's not gonna go into all my paraphernalia. Number one grossing sports franchise in the world. I just can't say it enough. So quite obviously, you're going to have a lot of people backing this team, right? Now, with that being said, it's quite obvious that all of these people aren't going to have really deep knowledge of football. Some of them are just really surface level fans. They're not diehards. They're part of the Cowboys fandom, so they say. But maybe not the realest fans. You feel me? Right? So, for me, I'm a football junkie, man. Okay? I started playing football at 6 years old and played all the way through college. I went to college at Northeast Louisiana University, which is now called ULM. Around 1996 to 2000. I know. I'm old, y'all. You don't have to put me on blast. I put myself out there with the days. Hey, with age comes beauty, baby. And I also played a couple other sports. I played basketball from the time I was 6 years old all the way up through high school. I played baseball, same amount of time as basketball. And, also ran a little track in high school. But football always had my heart. My football fandom started back in like 1985. So my pops is from Chicago, from the Chi. So I started my football fandom as a Bears fan back in 85, watching Refrigerator Perry, Mike Singletary, Jim McMahon, Walter Payton, better known as Sweetness, Willie Gault, Richard Dent, etc. Those 85 Bears were legendary, and with my father being from Chicago, there was no escaping me becoming a Bears fan. And then in like 91, I transitioned to being a Cowboys fan, much to the chagrin of my pops, probably. But yeah, that was about Jimmy's second or third year, Jimmy Johnson, and they made it to the playoffs, man. They hadn't made it the year before. It was a bit of a dumpster fire, I think, the year before that. And it helped, man, that I would see also some of the Cowboy greats walk in amongst us ordinary people in the city, man. I literally would see Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin in the barbershop. Mitchell's barbershop. Shout out to Mitch, man. Some of the Cowboys would frequent Mitch's barbershop and get haircuts, man. And when I would see them, I noticed they was pretty down to earth brothers, right? I see them playing dominoes, talking that noise. Domino, mother sucker. Which I like. So, yeah, man, it really, it was intriguing, man, especially as a young kid seeing that. And you're like, oh, wow, that's nice, man. I actually, it's a Dallas Cowboy. You see these guys on TV, and then you see these guys put on some great shows, man. That was a great team. Sorry, I got to hydrate. Yeah, that team of the 90s, man, was a great team. Right. So quite obviously everybody knows that, because what do you hear from those Cowboys haters? When was the last time you won a Super Bowl? Come on, man. Come on, man. Bruh, we got 5 of them, man. It's teams that ain't never won a Super Bowl. But that's the only thing you got for us Cowboys fans, is if your team ain't won a Super Bowl within the past X amount of years, then you can no longer be a fan. No, man, that's not how this works. Okay? It's still my team. Yeah, I feel like at times we're better than your team, but you know what I find? I'm gonna digress. I'm getting a little bit off track here, but I gotta say this. I feel like a lot of times, I don't even feel like, I know there's so many people who don't even have a football team, who just express all kinds of hate and just wish ill will on the Cowboys. Why? There's 31 other teams to choose from, baby. Pick one of them. Why are you worried about us? But you know what? T.I. said one time in one of his raps, he said, hey, if they ain't hating, start worrying then. Okay? So if they hating, man, that lets you know you do something right. You're doing something right? So, but anyway, it just, and I try to tell folks, listen, if you don't have a team, don't come talk about mine, because that's the hardest part about being a true fan, right? Is that when your team loses, right? Especially when they lose big games, which we have done so over the past couple of years. As a diehard, as a true fan, right? It's a tough pill to swallow. So if you don't have a team for me to come back and speak to you about whenever your team loses, I don't know. I don't feel like you can talk to me about mine. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about that. I don't know, man. It's tough for me when you come talking to me about my team and you haven't even picked a side. You haven't even chosen a side, right? So, what you're never going to be wrong. You're never going to be one for me to pick on, or for me to talk about, or for me to come do the same to you as what you do to me when it comes to my Cowboys. And these people are the ones that they do it so much and so often. It's just like, why? It almost makes you feel like, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to feel. Sometimes, I'll be honest, I don't even know how to feel. Like, why? What makes a person want to, I don't know, just hate from that level? And some of these people have been scarred and marred by the history of the Cowboys. Maybe at some point in time they were Cowboys fans, and then they moved away from being Cowboys fans. And you know what? I can't be mad at that. Because, after those guys that I just talked about, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, won those 3 Super Bowls. Well, they won 2 with Jimmy, which, it was one of my favorite coaches of all time. After they won the Super Bowls with him, and Jerry and Jimmy couldn't get along, and Jerry parted ways with Jimmy, and I almost lost my fandom too, man. I really did. I really hated to see that. So to see those guys not be able to get along for a longer period of time, and maybe have a longer dynasty like the likes of Tom Brady and Belichick and the Patriots and Robert Kraft. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough going through that. So yeah, I almost broke up with the Cowboys too. But hey, I'm still here. So back to realist versus realist. Again, I express my football opinions from a point of deep understanding for the game and the talent needed at each position. Not only from playing it, but from watching it years and years and years. Coached a little bit of it in Little League, coached, a couple of my boys coming up playing football. Yeah, it just, been in a lot of locker rooms, been on sidelines, at just about every level. So yeah. But I say all that to say this. I know I know. For those of you who tell me, and hey, listen, I've talked to some people who don't have teams and spoke to them specifically, and I ask them, what is it, man? Why is it that you don't like the Cowboys? Some of them say, man, the breakup with Jerry and Jimmy, when Jerry let Jimmy go, I was out of there and I hadn't liked the Cowboys ever since. Some people say it's your fans. Every win is a Super Bowl, and I get it. I see it. People, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't tell you how many times in barbershops I have gotten in arguments with other Cowboys fans. So many times. Y'all would never believe how many times I got in arguments. I mean, heated debates. I'm not talking about we were getting ready to fight, but I mean, we're, what? Man, you got to be crazy. We're going back and forth, man. Pretty heated, right? So it's crazy. It really is. It really is. Because sometimes those Cowboys fans don't speak from a place of using a lot of 5-letter words, facts, or from a knowledge of the game. All opinionated, all emotional. Sometimes you just got to come back to what's real. So first topic really I want to talk about, and it's kind of tough, I say all of that to talk about how people kind of get a little too emotional about the Cowboys. Some of these years, man, we just don't have it. You can look at the roster and go, yeah, we're missing pieces here. We're missing this piece, that piece. I think this year, though, it's a lot different. I was speaking to a buddy of mine, and I was telling him, hey, man, I'm starting this podcast, and I explained the realist versus the realist, all that good stuff, right? And he said, okay. And he's like, yeah, okay. Sounds promising, I guess, And then I said, but, this year is kind of tough to really not have some Super Bowl talks, right? With the defense that we have. Best defense in the NFL? Could be argued. At that point in time, he said, well, Rich, right then and there, you lost me. I was feeling you all the way up until you said that. Shout out to my boy AWOL, man. What up, baby? AWOL is a San Francisco 49ers fan, and he's quick to let you know it's bang, bang, Niner gang. Bruh. But, listen, they beat us 2 years straight, man. I mean, I can't. The proof is in the pudding. It's done. It's on the field. When we lose, right? We can have all the excuses going, in the world, But when we lose, we lose. At the end of the day, the L is the L, right? So the better team won, okay? Of the past 2 seasons, we can make all excuses in the world, right? So with that being said, maybe I can see where he's coming from. However, we made some changes this year. Filled some holes, right? In some places, right? Cornerback, last year, towards the end of the year, they threw everywhere but Tavon Diggs' way. Just trying to find that other guy. Matter of fact, they thought it might be Deron Bland. He wound up getting 5 picks on them boys. So then they couldn't go to him, right? So it was just anybody else they put at that other cornerback spot, aside from them two, once they figured out what Deron Bland does. Even still, with that, it became difficult for people to go out and beat the Cowboys. Even the San Francisco 49ers didn't score a ton of points in that win last year, right? So this year we got better at the cornerback position. We went out in the first round and got us a defensive lineman to help with run stopping, which was very much so needed. And then we had a couple other interior guys step up for us, right? But our pass rush was already there. Quite obviously, we know who the guy is, right? And Micah, and I gotta go get me a Micah jersey, man. Micah's that guy, okay? Micah is probably the best defensive player in the NFL. Speed, power, all the different positions he can play on the field, his flexibility, man. I think that dude could go play cornerback, quite honestly, if he wanted to, and hold it down, right? I mean, I'm not going to say, yeah, Mike is going to guard Justin Jefferson and shut him down, right? But, I mean, Micah can go out there and compete at corner. He's just that good of an athlete, which is crazy. It's unheard of at 250 pounds for him to move the way he moves with the strength that he has. To see what he's doing, man. It's unbelievable. Appreciate what you're watching right now, because this dude he's a generational talent, right? Back to my buddy I was talking to, so I told him, yeah, man, we filled some holes. We made some moves. We're a good team. We got rid of Zeke. I had to wear my Zeke jersey representing today. It was really, really weird to see that dude in a Patriots uniform. But it was a decision that had to be made, quite honestly. That's one of the reasons why here recently I started gaining a lot more faith in the Cowboys, because those are difficult decisions, right? And I don't think they made the right one when they decided to pay him big money. Me personally, I don't. And I'm a Zeke fan. Quite obviously, I got the jersey, right? I can't say that I'm happy to see running backs' value diminish in the league, right? Because running backs aren't getting paid like other position players are getting paid. Like quarterback, nowhere near. Wide receiver, not even half in most instances. So, but they do a lot, man, and they take a beating. I played running back, okay, in college. That was my position, was running back. So, if anybody's gonna have, some empathy for what's going on there, it's gonna be me. But I'm also looking at things from an organizational perspective, and if I'm an owner and I'm looking at, okay, what's the trend with the teams that are winning Super Bowls? Do you see iconic running backs that are highly paid and highly touted? Not really. Kansas City Chiefs just won the Super Bowl with Isaiah Pacheco, who was a 6th round pick. And I'm not saying the guy's a slouch, but he didn't lead the league in rushing last year, right? It wasn't him. It's not him. It's not him that's the center of their team, right? When he gets his production, because we know who the man is over there. That's Pat Mahomes. And the man standing next to the man is Travis Kelce. So those are the guys you pay. And then you got to make sure your O-line is right, because you got to protect the highest paid guy, which is your quarterback. So that's the hierarchy, man. It's your quarterback, the guy that he's going to throw the ball to the most, the difference maker, the special person on the receiving end. Could be wide receiver. In that case, it's a tight end, right? And then you got to pay your the big guys up front, your bodyguards. So I get it. So anyway, just keeping it real. Our defense is nice on all 3 levels. D-line is nice. Our linebackers are nice. Our safeties and our corners we probably got the best cornerback duo in the league. Okay. So we're nice there. Safety, we nice, man. There's no holes. We may lack some depth at linebacker, but another thing that we have that a lot of people don't really give the credit needed towards is we have really good coaching. Defensive coordinator. I think our head coach is pretty good. The dude won a Super Bowl, so that speaks some volumes, right? The man took a team to the promised land. So, you can. I notice people, when it comes to the Cowboys, they nitpick about this and that. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Why can't you let some guys just have their flowers when it comes to us? It's always got to be a but with the Cowboys, But we feel some hope. So now, I don't feel like me saying that I'm going out on some crazy limb. And you say, well, you still got Dak. True. That's true. But we did make changes on that side as well. We got rid of Zeke, and Zeke, I'm not saying that Zeke was necessarily totally holding us back, but I feel like Zeke was losing a little bit of his home run ability. Well, I'm not even gonna say I feel like, I know he's lost a lot of his home run ability. From Zeke his first 3 years to where he catch a screen pass and take it 80. I saw him do it against Pittsburgh. To the crib. Yeah. To the crib. Like quick, like that. He's to the crib. Diving in the end zone backwards, laying on his back and all that kind of stuff. Zeke can't do that anymore, man. He don't have that anymore. Tony Pollard does. Tony Pollard does. I think Rico Dowdle's got a little bit of that in him. He can go. And we know the little man, that they brought in definitely has some juice, right? And Deuce Vaughn. So yeah, we made some moves, again, as a diehard and seeing what Zeke's done for the organization, I didn't want to see it, but we paid him too much money, man. His contract was, you had to move on. We had to move on. Okay. And then I know the big question, Dak. Listen, people, all I'm hearing after last year's performance by Dak, you know what I keep hearing? All those interceptions he threw, all those interceptions. Oh my gosh, yeah, you need a new quarterback. Let me tell you a secret. Since week 1 of 2022, Josh Allen has played 19 games. He has 20 interceptions and 17 fumbles in those 19 games. 37 picks/fumbles in 19 games. Averaging almost exactly 2 picks/fumbles a game. But do you hear Josh Allen's name coming out of a lot of people's mouth when they're talking about turnovers? You don't. Why is it that people continue to talk about Dak? Because you're dealing with the world's most profitable team, highest grossing, right? So you're just going to hear the Cowboys players and team in people's mouths more so than any other team, period. Basketball, football, baseball. I mean, you just will. Just because it's the Cowboys. And that's what comes with the territory. But, and I just finished watching that Buffalo game and the New York Jets. And shout out to my big homie, Marlon. What up, Kilo? He sent me that little tidbit about Josh Allen. I thought that was interesting, man. I said, wow. I didn't realize this guy had compiled that many turnovers, right, in such a short period of time. But everything is about Dak and his turnovers. And it was, because Dak missed a few games and still had that many. I mean, listen, Dak was in an offense to where the offensive coordinator wanted to try to, throw the ball down the field and run up the score on teams that we could do so on. Problem was we just couldn't get it done against the good teams. We needed to do that type of stuff. So that's why that guy's gone. And nothing against Kellen Moore. I like Kellen Moore as an OC. I really feel like, though, his philosophy was more about plays instead of players, meaning that he would try to out-scheme everybody, and it just got a little too complicated at times. And if the quarterback and the wide receiver weren't on the same page, it resulted in turnovers. Sometimes you just keep it simple and you be more so about players than plays, and you say, hey, I feel like my guy's better than your guy. You're going to take the best guy on your team, and you're going to say, I feel like he's better than your guy, and I am going to exploit the matchup. And if you double cover him, then that's going to bring somebody else open, and then we'll throw it to that person. But it's not going to be with some crazy scheme that you've never seen, or that you go, oh, wow, man, we did not plan for that. And I feel like that's the Kellen Moore that we saw last year, and, sometimes prior to last year. It works very well sometimes, but then when guys aren't on the same page, you have turnovers, and you have them at very inopportune times. And so that's why the guy's gone. I think Mike McCarthy is more about the players and getting those players the ball, in the situations where we need big plays, as opposed to trying to draw up these super fancy schemes, right? And, just really out-scheme the defensive coordinator. So, Cowboys played the Giants. last night, and beat the brakes off the Giants. I mean, beat the brakes off of them. I'm talking about beat them like they stole something. I thought Daniel Jones was going to file charges after the game. I really did. I thought Daniel Jones was going to call the police at halftime. Thought he was going to come back out there in the third quarter with security. That man got assaulted so many times. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That man got done bad. He had them little black pellets all over his helmet all game. Oh, man, them little black pellets that come from the turf, all in his helmet, his face mask on his face and the nose. Oh, man, they hit him everywhere but on the bottom of his feet. And I think they may have hit him there a couple of times. Boy, they was on him like white on rice. Go Cowboys. Yes. It was a feat to watch. 40 burger to nothing. 40 burger to nothing. That's an NFL team, y'all. That's a whole NFL team. Them Cowboys jumped on like that, right? 7 sacks, 2 picks, 1 in all 3 phases of the game, 1 in the special teams, right? Offense, right? Defense, that D line, monsters. Oh man, you don't want to be caught in predictable passing situations with those guys, man. Woo! You got to be able to mix it up against them, fam. Like I'm telling you, woo! They get it in. Them boys get it in, right? Now the offense looked effective. They didn't turn the ball over. You know, I like they had some short passes. They had a balanced attack. I really felt like the game plan catered to, one, the weather, because it was raining. Went from heavy rain, light rain, so it was on and off throughout the game. So the field gets wet, the ball gets wet. You know, those pinpoint accurate passes, 15 yards down the field, the need zip. It's a harder ball to throw. It's a harder ball to catch. And those typically can lead to, it slipped out my hands, bounced off my hands, and was intercepted. Also, quite obviously, the Cowboys were up big early. So, you know, there's really no point in, you know, going to page 185 of the playbook. You know, you're gonna stay on page 5. You know, the score is, I think it was 26-0 at halftime, I believe. So at that point, you know, what's the point? What's the point of reaching deep into your playbook? You say those plays for the next team, right? You don't give the next good team those plays to scout. So, and they didn't do that. I feel like Mike McCarthy did a great job there. He didn't show too much. And then, you know, there were times to where, hey, it's 3rd and 13. Don't try to come up with this huge play again to where Dak is going to turn the ball over. You're up. There's no need for it, you know. And we talked about the monsters on defense. Let the monsters eat. Let them eat. Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. Yeah. So limited the turnovers, you know. So I thought that was great. And I don't think we should start the talks about the Super Bowl just yet. Okay. Again, the realist, REALIST. I got to tone it back down. It's one game. I don't care how good we look. It's one game. Last thing I want us doing is going out there, getting overconfident. You know what I'm saying? Start smelling ourselves a little bit. Oh man, we good. You know, and then you get that cocky swag that it's too much, right? And then you lose a little bit of that edge, right? So I really don't want them having that. And then we also have to ask ourselves just a few questions, right? Are the Giants maybe just that bad this year. I don't know. It remains to be seen. It's one game. Again, I'm not saying, hey, it's just one win. It's one game. We've only played one game of football this year. So it's not really a lot that you can go off of. It takes about 4 weeks for you start to see, okay, who's who, right? That's one freaking game, guys. So for all you Cowboys fans, the first thing you did, you went to work the next morning and, what I tell you about the Cowboys? And I mean, everybody hear you. That's why people be, that's why they hate us. That's why they hate us. They say, oh man, y'all too much. Me Cowboys fans are too much. Just act like we were supposed to do it. That's what I did. That's what I did today. I didn't go in telling people. I didn't go telling people, hey, I'm Cowboys. You hear me down the hallway. I mean, if I see a fellow Cowboys fan, I'll be like, hey man, I told you it was gonna look pretty good on defense. That's what you're gonna hear from me, man. Yeah. Just keeping it real. Okay. So yeah, man, maybe the Giants aren't that good. There's also a couple other NFC top contenders that have proven over the past couple years that they are good, and they don't have any holes. They hadn't fallen off. One of them is my boy AWOL's team. I talked about earlier. San Francisco. But I gotta say this about my boy AWOL, man. San Francisco jumped on the Pirates, Pittsburgh Pirates. Like I'm talking baseball. Ooh, it must be late. I'm tripping. Pittsburgh Steelers. They jumped on them, right? They jumped on them pretty bad. I can't remember the exact score, but I know they jumped on them pretty bad. I watched some of that game too. Christian McCaffrey did his thing. Brock Purdy looked good. The defense looks damn good. That's another defense. They're good on all three levels, right? They got a good D-line. Bosa's one of the top defenders in the league. Fred Warner's a monster at linebacker. They got another linebacker over there. He's really nice. Good safety play. Their corners aren't on the same level of ours, but they'll hold it down, man. They're decent. Okay, they're decent. So they look really good yesterday. And they were playing in Pittsburgh, right? And Pittsburgh is it's a storied franchise, man. Let's not get it twisted, man. I didn't go into that game thinking Pittsburgh was gonna get dusted like that. Okay, I mean, just from a guy. I mean, I watch football, man. Those guys got some weapons on that offensive side. Najee Harris is a monster at running back. Pat Freiermuth, man, he's nice at tight end. Fearless going across the middle, right? George Pickens, dude, when I talk about hands, got hands. The boy got hands. The boy has hands. All right. And then you've got Deontay, which I forget his last name, but and I think he got hurt. So, that hurt them a little bit, but that wasn't everything, man. And they got a decent defense too. TJ Watt. They got some good safety. They got good safety play. Minkah Fitzpatrick. So listen, I mean, we're not talking about Pittsburgh Steelers at a bottom of the barrel. Yeah, they got a young quarterback, but it's his second year and he has some weapons, and he came on at the end of last year. Hey man, I didn't expect for San Francisco to stomp a mud hole in those boys like that. Okay, so I had to admit that San Francisco showed up, man. They showed up and showed out just like the Cowboys did. And I can't say, the Cowboys showed out more. It's not about that, man. You can't say, because we beat our team, the team we played for it, and then y'all only beat y'all's, 30-something-3. Then y'all or 30-something-7 or whatever. Y'all let your team score. I don't do that. That means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. One team versus the other and how good they are. That will be told again when they meet up and play each other in the big game when it matters, right? Because then you'll see. You can't gauge how one team plays another team and determine whether or not that team's better than that team. Any given Sunday, man. Any given Sunday, right? So anyway, I do recognize that as a real Cowboy fan. Like, it's a real football fan, right? I'm a realist as a football fan. Like these are things you got to take into perspective. It can't just always be, oh, rah, Cowboy, rah, we're going to beat everybody. Oh, y'all sorry, trash. No. All right. Philly played a pretty good game, man, against New England. Another messy game, rainy game like ours. And I mean, I thought New England, again, for me, just like Pittsburgh, New England is a team that has a young quarterback. I think Mac Jones is in his third year now. He's got a brand new offensive coordinator. Bill O'Brien's back in New England, but he's never worked with Mac Jones. So, there's some familiarity to have between them to get to know each other and what Mac Jones likes. So yeah, I mean, I feel like they went out there and they fought. Initially, it looked like it might be. They maybe we're gonna get embarrassed, but they fought back. I think it helped Tom Brady was there, and they were commemorating him for his illustrious career, the GOAT, the freaking GOAT, with 7 rings, 6 with them, 1 with Tampa Bay. So I felt like they may have gotten up for that game, but like I said, they come out with an L. Philly jumped on them, and Philly almost gave it up at the end, but they held it down. So again, Philly's got a solid defense, man. Some big boys up front, and they're deep, just like we're deep. But I feel like they're deep. They're bigger than we are. They're not as fast as we are. We're definitely faster than Philly, but they got some big boys up front. They're gonna make it tough for guys to run up the middle. But I feel like you can tire those boys out and you can beat them with speed. So, but we'll see. It's another team that we have to see. Again, guys, 40-0. I get it. Simmer down. One game. Keep it real. It's just one game. Okay? It's just one game. Let's not go crazy. Okay? But anyway, so let's get some closer games under our belts. See how the game's called. See what kind of consistency we come away with, right? And then, win a playoff game or two, and we start hoorahing when we have an opportunity for the Super Bowl parade to again come down these Dallas streets. I feel like that's when I start to hear my fellow Cowboys fans, my real Cowboys fans go, "Let's go!" That's when I'm gonna be going, "Let's go!" I promise you, man. Because hey, man, that's a different feeling. So I think J. Cole said it best when he said, celebrating all your first downs like they touchdowns bring a price. Like you can't keep celebrating all these mediocre wins like they Super Bowls, man. I don't care if we win by large margins. Come on, man. I want the big one. Okay? So let's just keep it real, man. But I feel like, man, if we win the attrition battle and stay healthy, this team's got a good opportunity. We got all the makings as it shows right now. I'm not gonna jump off the cliff right now and say, "Hey, man, we need to start sizing rings," like my boy Ant would say. Y'all start sizing rings. You won one game. No, nobody said that. I will enjoy it a little bit though. I will enjoy it because it's good to see, man. But I would much rather have some consistency, like the Patriots. And that organization with Tom and all the Super Bowls they won, man, that's got to be a great feeling because that team was a freaking dumpster fire before they got Tom Brady. So it's got to be, it had to be a great feeling for those fans. Oh, man, you run into one of those mass holes and they'll be sure to tell you about it. And again, they'll come back with well, how many you got? And come on, man, if it wasn't for Tom, who y'all accidentally picked up, 199th pick of the draft in the 6th round, and because Drew Bledsoe was your guy, you didn't even know what you had in Tom Brady. He just fell in your lap, right? Okay, don't start acting like y'all just went and drafted this guy and knew he was gonna be the GOAT. Come on, man. We drafted Troy Aikman. First round. What? We drafted Michael Irvin. We drafted Emmitt Smith early. We knew who we were going after. We knew what kind of talent we were looking at. We were seeking out. Y'all didn't know what y'all had in Terrific Tom. Stop it, massholes. Get off the gas. Anyway, all right, it's late here, man. So this was I wanted this to be quick, but I wound up getting on one. Listen, this is what you gonna get, man. This is the realest Cowboys fan. Period. Like the kids saying now, period. It's what you gonna get, man. All right. Yeah, man. I didn't dive too deep, even though we had an unbelievable performance. Like I mentioned, I did touch on a lot of different points, man. But trust me, I can get deep like the abyss on this football stuff, man. And I ain't even got my notes. If I come with my notes, oh man, it's going down. So listen, I'm gonna open this thing up on future shows. Have some callers call in, do some lives with you guys. Yeah, man. Just really see what we can conjure up. Some of my real fans out there. Sound like a plan? Sound like a plan to me. Again, if you like it, I love it. So strike that like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any wonderful future content, baby. All right? Hey, until next time, my RCF sisters and brethren. Until then, go Cowboys.